Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Stanley, and we're here to talk about books. So today's video is going to be me picking my August TBR of books to read, and things have got a little bit complicated since in July I signed up for HRCYED 2.0, which stands for the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. And for today's August TBR, I am going to set up the HRCYED bingo square of playing someone else's TBR game. But first of all, let's make some tea. Okay, tea dice, give me your best shot. 4 and 8 is 12, which is white peony. One of the more subtle flavours in my collection, but still very welcome. I often go for the more perhaps exciting and flavoursome teas and forget that the white peony is even there, so this is a good choice from the tea dice. Good old Pass Me has, as ever, already boiled the kettle. Oh, lovely stuff. Nothing beats a good pot of tea, especially accompanying some reading. There we go, white peony. I'm going to enjoy that. So now we've got our tea, which I think we're going to need because, as I said, things have got complicated. So for the HRCYED TBR game square, I have to pick another BookTuber's TBR game and play it. And I have chosen Cody's Wheel of TBR, which is a spinner wheel with various categories on it. And I have set that up and we are going to play it shortly. But I have to take into consideration various other things as well, because I'm also taking part in G's Magical Readathon, G from over on Book Roast, and also the Reddit Fantasy Bingo Challenge. So those need to be looked at as well to combine as many prompts as possible so I don't have to read a ridiculous number of books across the month. So let's get to it, I guess, and figure out what I'm going to be reading in August. So here we are at the book flaps. Stanley has the robot TBR jar, which we may need depending on what comes up on the spinner wheel. And we're also going to be doing a couple of draws from the specific HRCYED prompts jar. I did say this was getting complicated. And yes, I have a pile of priority reads, which I'm hoping to be able to get into my August TBR because I need to be reading one of the Reddit Fantasy Bingo Square books that I have left over at least once a month if I want to finish it by the end of March. And also with HRCYED, you can assign each book you read to 2 different squares on the bingo board. And I've pulled out a pile of books which are only allocated to 1 square at the moment so that I can maybe double them up by adding them into the TBR challenge row. And also have trusty laptop here with the spinner wheel, which is what we're going to do right now. So here we go. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Okay. There it goes. What is the first spinner wheel prompt going to be? New author. Okay, well, that's a good one to start. Let's see what we've got in here. So, there's one straight off. Lisa Jewell. None of this is true. So the other prompt that this one is going to fit is the quote prompt, where you have to pick a quote from something and then find books that have every word from the quote in the title, 1 per book. And the quote that I have picked is from Red Dragon, Hannibal Lecter saying, "Fear is the price of our instrument," talking about imagination, which is a quote that's always resonated very strongly with me. So none of this is true. fulfills is and is also going to be in the TBR game. And this is a thriller about two very different women who meet by chance and discover they are birthday twins. One of them has a podcast and the other one is interviewed on the podcast. And then there's discovery that the one being interviewed is perhaps not always telling the truth. So I think that one's going to be quite exciting. Number 1. I also mentioned I'm doing the Adventures in Eldia Magical Readathon year-long challenge, which gives me a prompt every month. And this month's prompt, because I am stargazing on my journey, is a book with stars on the cover. So I'm going to go with The Humans by Matt Haig, which is also one of my single square fulfillers for HRCYED. So we'll see if we can get this in with the TBR prompts as well, but we'll see how it goes. So, one down. We've only just started. Strap in. Oh, I set it going. Most recent purchase. Okay. Well, that's a bit annoying because I got None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell in my last charity shop haul not so long ago. So that would have worked out perfectly for that. And I don't think any of the ones on here in this pile fit. Oh, actually, here we go. Home Truths by Susan Lewis was also on a recent charity shop haul. So I'm going to pick that, which is another one of the single fulfillers. I think this one fulfills a specific publication year, and it was the only one in my whole TBR that fit that year. I can't remember which one it is. So Angie Watts used to have everything: new home, beloved husband, 3 adored children, life is shattered, son is missing, daughter looking for help in dangerous places. Yeah, doesn't sound like exactly my kind of book, but I have really enjoyed Susan Lewis in the past, so we're going to go with that. 2 down. So, spin again. New author again. Okay, well, should be able to figure something out with this. Oh, I think that's going to have to be one of the non-fictions. I mean, I do have to read the non-fictions at some point, and they are on the shelf for a reason, because I was kind of interested in them. So I am going to go with The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, which I picked up earlier this year because someone recommended it to me. And this is a self-help book about letting go of other people's expectations for you and trying not to get too badly affected by what you think other people might be thinking about you. So I think that would be a really good book for me to read and maybe get something out of. And this is currently on the non-fiction HRCYED section, so that's good. So that's 3. I was going to do 6 plus the HRCYED jar. So we're doing well so far. So let's spin again. For choice number 4. Ooh, representation. Interesting. So this category is for any kind of diverse representation, be it disability, queer characters, BIPOC, anything like that. So I think I'm going to go with the other non-fiction. Didn't think I was going to pick this. So this is the 3-Year Swim Club by Julie Checkaway, which is about a young teacher on the island of Maui who decides to create a champion swimming team from the children of the local sugar plantation with a goal to become Olympians. And so obviously the teacher is on the island of Maui and most of the children are Japanese American. So that works. So we've got another non-fiction on there. This is going reasonably well. So that's 4. Okay. Spin number 5. Classic. Oh, interesting. Do I have any classics on my TBR? Did Les Mis last month, and that would definitely have been a classic. What constitutes a classic, Stanley? Ah, I think I know. It's going to have to be one from behind the book flaps. Okay. Penguin Classics Edition. Got to be a classic because Penguin says so. The Old Wives' Tale by Arnold Bennett, which is about 2 sisters and their lives. One of them elopes to Paris. One of them spends her life in their father's drapery shop, and they cross over, obviously they're sisters, and then get reunited in later life. So there we go, number 5. That's a bit of a chonker, very small text, but I'm sure we'll get on okay. So one more spin. Final spin for Cody's Wheel of TBR Game. TBR Veteran. So one that's been on the shelf for a really long time. I think I'm going to have to do it. I think I'm going to have to go with Trio by William Boyd, because this has been on the shelf for a long time because I've been avoiding my literary. Didn't have a very good time with William Boyd when I picked one not so long ago, but this one actually sounds quite good. Summer 1968, on a film set in sunny Brighton, 3 characters are leading secret lives. So we're going to go with Trio. Again, I think this might be fulfilling one of the specific publication years for the HRCYED at the moment. So I've got quite a few from the priority pile, but I am going to have to add the humans to do the magical readathon, which gives me 7. And I also need a Reddit Fantasy Bingo Square one. And I was hoping to get series or 5-star prediction, which were both on the spinner wheel and didn't come up, to get Murder of Clones onto the pile. So I think I'm going to have to add that one as well, which gives me 8. And some of them are quite junky. So yeah, I think that's going to be on the pile as well. Might be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see. I didn't add the goldfinch. That would have been a bit too much. That one, I think. So probably good that one didn't come up, but we'll get to eventually. Don't you worry. So I think since I've got 8, and that's a bit of a challenge anyway, I'm not going to do the specific HRCYED jar because I am fulfilling quite a few HRCYED prompts with these anyway. So I'm going to leave that alone for this month and come back to it another time. Well, that was a bit of a roller coaster ride, Stanley. But there we go. That's our books for August. So there we have it. Quite a stack for August. But I have been getting through probably at least as many books as these in most months recently. Some of them are quite long, some of them are quite short. And it's quite a varied selection, let's say. Didn't manage to really combine many of the prompts in the different reading challenges, but I've ticked off HRCYED, I've ticked off Magical Readathon, and I've ticked off the Reddit Fantasy Bingo Challenge. So I've got at least representation for all of the different reading challenges across the month. So yes, interesting times. So yes, thank you for joining me on this Spinner Wheel TBR game for HRCYED. Thank you to Cody for giving me the spinner wheel categories from her Wheel of TBR game, and we'll see how we get on with this giant stack of books. Bye for now.